Does it work? Yes, but that's not the one I want. Okay. Hello, everybody. Yeah, this is probably not the best microphone right now. There it is. Now we're talking. Perfect. Cool. Let me post this. Okay, so today I'm just gonna share my thoughts on the Light Phone 2 after 4 years. Here's my Light Phone, and I will kind of just go over, how the Light Phone has been good to me. The dumb phone live stream. Cool. And we'll go over a couple of extra news as you see in the page right there. I have, and of course, questions and, that kind of stuff. But the lightphone.com. So there it is. Go light. That's the hope. So thank you for being here. Thank you everyone for just taking the time and doing what. Let me see. Make sure that. Oh, hello. Oh, that's better. Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out the microphone. Down mix to mono. No, I want it to be. Okay. There it is. Is that better? I think that should be better. That should be both. Hey, Carl. Thank you for watching just for a little bit. So today I want to just talk about 4 years with the Light Phone and other dumb phone news, of course. So I've had my Light Phone for 4 years now, and I think a lot of us don't appreciate how much like it goes into making a phone and keeping it updated. And honestly, I think I want to do that today. I'm a little stuck at the office and I have some time, so I'll be talking about that. But it's been 4 years, and when this project first started, it only had very little. Honestly, it had the phone only had alarm, contacts, and settings, and that was it. There was nothing else. But now you have the ability to have a lot of other functionality like directions, or you have the interface right there. Hopefully the video plays, and you know you have the lock screen, you have the way to access the activity icons, you have the voice to text, and the key was replaced to the top. And again, it's just been quite an experience for me. I'm definitely gonna have like a more robust review, but we'll be kind of like, if you have any questions about my experience over the last 4 years, more than welcome to share there. And during those 4 years, the Dumb Phone Finder has been there to help people kind of like find. I started it, and you guys have used it in a lot of other things. But the thing that I come back to the Light Phone is just the kind of life that it has allowed me to live. And I think that's something that I just keep coming back to because I truly enjoy it. So I'm preparing a video where I'm kind of going over my day and how my day looks like. And most of the time, my day is very simple, right? So I come here to the office, I do some things, and then as the phone says, it's designed to be used as little as possible, and I just put it in my desk here at the office, and that's about it. I just leave it there. But after that, there's a couple of like quality improvements that I personally have enjoyed. I think the podcast tool is the tool that I use the most. I have a music tool and hotspot and calculator, and of course I love my device. I'll be publishing a review on that more, but maybe what I wanted to talk about just for these like 5 minutes, I don't want to go on the Light Phone all this live stream, is that there's no perfect device, but if you find a device that you really like and you stick to it, then it's going to make your life better. So I think that that's the thing that I have learned with the Light Phone for the past 4 years, is that, hey, there's no perfect device. Some of these devices are, there's a lot of dumb phones, as you may see in the Dumb Phone Finder. And all of these, honestly, you can make them work if you are willing to sacrifice or adjust your lifestyle to fit the phone and not have the phone fit your lifestyle. I think that's the biggest lesson that I have learned. And if you don't like what the lifestyle of the phone is, then, you have other alternatives. So, when I get to the office, I have my Jelly Star now here. And this phone has been pretty good because what I enjoy about it is that, I'm able to have all the work things at work. But whenever I go home, I try to only bring my light phone. Not perfect. And sometimes I end up bringing my work phone as well. But I like that, hey, this is a very tiny device, and because it works with all of the apps, but it's super tiny, I'm not super engaged with it. I think let me check what my digital well-being says. So my average, it's usually like an hour and 40 minutes max. But that is even using the phone right there. So yeah, for the most part, I have good, 2 hours, an hour and 52. I don't know if you can appreciate it there. Like an hour and 27, an hour and, 2 hours on Saturday, usually a busy day for me. But as you see, like I've been able to use that phone for work, right? So when I'm at work, I use that phone for work. Whenever I have to take it out home because of whatever, I take the phone with me and I don't use it that much. I mean, honestly, in the past, I was so, I used to have and use the phone for a very long time. Another phone that kind of like news that has been happening is the F1 Pro. As you see right here, even more features. The Sunbeam F1, excellent device. I really, really enjoy the just the look of it. I'm getting mine, I believe, next week. And I'm excited that they have a lot of configurations. As you see right here, they have redwood and oak and cypress and hickory and maple and cedar and birch and aspen. A lot of stuff happening in there. But if you want to know what all the differences are, you go here to the F1 Pro and then like take a detailed look. It will give you like a PDF. And right there you have the models and what is based out of. If I make this bigger, as you see right there, you have, okay, which one is the best one. So if you see the cedar right here is like the most basic. It doesn't even have text messaging. It's just calls. Doesn't have any of the other stuff. It's just like a phone for making calls. Then you have the birch, which has a couple things here and there. Redwood, cypress, maple, hickory, and aspen has hotspot, which is one of the most requested features. Another thing that I really loved when I first got my light phone was that it had hotspot, so I was able to still merge in between some of these things. But give me 1 second. I think you guys cannot see the whole list. So yeah, I mean, I personally have enjoyed a lot of that. So let me see if I can move my webcam right here. Yeah, so like I'm gonna move myself out of the way right now. So yeah, as you see right there, you have all of the feature parity if you go to this page, and then you get to see like which device is for you. But again, my point is that you need to make the device or like your lifestyle match the device instead of having or forcing the dumb phone to try to match your lifestyle. I'm personally getting the Aspen right here. It has all the features, so I can showcase everything, and then you can go and get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 other configurations. It has 8 configurations that, hey, this is what I appreciate, and this is what I want to have. Then that's your kind of like realm of things that you want to do. They have 3 very smart ones right here, and I think maybe Maple or Aspen should be the most popular ones because they have hotspot. But they don't have, this one doesn't have Google's navigation. This one does have Google's navigation, Waze navigation, and Here navigation. So kind of like what you prefer. The phone itself, has these specs. It's a flip phone, basic OS, probably based on Android, 2 gigs of RAM. a lot of the stuff that we already know. Um, but yeah, to go check it out, and kind of have it. But this is kind of like a reflection live stream. And of course, if you guys have any questions, make sure to put them in there. I'm always, willing to answer questions. But yeah, as I have gone through pretty much every single dumb phone that is here. Oh, this is weird. Huh. Can you guys see that? I don't think so. Okay. I don't know what happened. There was some weird effect right there. But as I've gone through all of these and I have done reviews on all of them, like I always come back to my tried and true, and like, those are the 5-star kind of like reviews. These devices are the ones I'm like, yeah, I trust these devices. I trust these brands. I think that they have done a good job for what they ask and for what they say they're going to be. And it's just better, that way. It's better to have it based on things that you trust and things that are working as they say that they're working. But for any of these phones, especially for the light phone, I mean, like it works. For me, it's a 5-star device, even though it has a couple of shortcomings here and there, because it really makes your lifestyle change, right? Like, you want a dumb phone, you want something to change your life, but you get supports and updates. The company is behind it, and like for the price or for the things, it may be a little bit steep for a lot of people, but it's a good investment that a lot of people have made. As I'm preparing my review, my 4-year review, I've tried to like, I've tried to make sure that I learn more and I get more like understanding of how to orient my lifestyle towards the phone, instead of forcing again the phone to fit the lifestyle that I want or the convenience that I need. Couple of comments here. So, a couple highs. Hey guys, like, Belly's Fox. Hello, Carl too again. Retro says, I've used the Alcatel Go Flip V for 2 or 3 years now. Very flawed, but somehow the best featured dumb phones short of the KaiOS era, in my opinion. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think a lot of people go, and I guess I'll showcase a little bit of the Reddit right now. So a lot of people, and I see these posts, and they're like, hey, I want this. So for example, like, hey, do you want an Android 13 Japanese flip phone? I do. And then they go and they're like, hey, the aesthetic, like I want this aesthetically pleasing device. And then, you have ability to install all the apps. This is a smart feature phone. It's great, for a lot of people, I want that. But the problem is, sometimes the bands don't match. I see 1, 3, 20 and 41. I mean, maybe those will catch onto something here. But for the most part, this will not work in the United States. And then they get really disappointed because they're like, oh, I really want a aesthetically pleasing phone. People go into the Cat S22, as you see right here, and they talk about all of these things. Or for example, right here, something like the Cat S22 Flip, but smaller. And it's like, well, that's the thing. You're trying to fit, you're trying to find the perfect device. And I think there was another one right here, Light Phone 2 alternative, which more of a smartphone. I like the Light Phone 2. They want the same or near size, faster e-ink display, banking and 2FA, WhatsApp and camera. And, this person also has tried Unihertz and they don't like it because it's too bulky. And this is what I say. I'll say it again and again on this subreddit. The perfect phone doesn't exist yet. You need to compromise or customize. That's just the current state of the dumb phone market in 2023. And I think a lot of people, when they get to the light phone, they talk about the shortcomings, right? Like, how terrible it is and how, it's slower than their smartphone. And, it doesn't feel like it's a fast refresh rate. It doesn't feel like it's super amazing. And honestly, for me, sometimes it's difficult to hear that. I think there was a review. I think his criticisms are pretty fair. I mean, I don't disagree that the phone doesn't kind of come into the standards. His name is Dorian Develops. I watched it the other day. Yeah, he's doing other things too, but he had a review right there for 30 days, right? So he tried the phone for 30 days. Let me turn that off in case there's any copyright or whatever. So he has had the light phone for about a month. And he talks about like the things that he liked, the things that he didn't. And it's a good video. I think, it's about 16 minutes, and if you have sponsor block, then 14:57 because it skips this Mint Mobile sponsorship. I liked it. I think it was interesting to see the follow up and like opinions from the phone. But something that I thought that he missed is that, when he was talking about like the voice to text, like, so for example, he talked about the voice to text and how it wasn't necessarily, it doesn't catch every word and it does make some mistakes. I'm like, okay, fine, but you don't have to use that feature. You don't have to, again, you don't have to force the device to fit a mold that it's not trying to fit in. And I think that that's something that a lot of people just don't look into. Wait, is that not showing? Oh yeah, it is showing. Okay, so yeah, for example, he shows that. He also talks about the music, and it's like, let me see. So, like he talks about like Spotify never coming. And I think if I go into the Instagram for the Light Phone 2, that's another thing that a lot of people talk about, right? So let me go into, this is such a Light Phone. A Light Phone, perfect. So here we have the Light Phone. If you go into if you go into any of these posts right here, this is the latest one. There's always going to be like, I just need Spotify and I'm in. And, people are like, me too. It has 12 likes. Let me see. Let's go to another one right here. Storage. How does music currently work? There's something to happen about Spotify. Somewhere here, it's going to happen. Oh, Light Phone available in Germany. Also, thoughts on the Spotify thing. I personally wouldn't need the option of endless scrolling. Okay, so that person's saying like, I don't necessarily need it. But you'll find at least one comment that it will say like, oh, does it have this feature? Does it have that feature? Does it do this? Does it do that? Or this one right here. Any idea when you will come out with a rideshare tool? And I'm like, okay, fine, no problem. You need rideshare. I understand. It's part of life. It's part of like what people want to do, with their phones. But it's just like, just do a little bit of research, and now you'll find out this Uber call number, right? So like you can just call Uber, not customer service. There's like a number to ride, maybe. There it is, 1-833 use Uber. So you can call that number, and now you can get an Uber. So you don't need a tech ride share tool anymore on the phone, because you can literally just you can call an Uber, English or Spanish. It will help you. 833 use Uber, right? And that's just like one search away. I know people are sometimes, maybe they're not aware, but again, it's just like, hey, there's a workaround, and there's something like this, like direct toll-free number. As you see, dial 1-833 use Uber 873-8237. I gave a little kind of like overview of how that works on my channel on a YouTube short, and yeah, it works. Like you get the trip details, you get everything, you ride, and you can do it from any phone. It doesn't have to be a Light Phone, like, it can be anything else. But it just goes to show like how I think, let me go back to that page, like how a lot of people are like, hey, if it had this, if it had that. And I'm just like, why don't you find a way to match what the phone is like, instead of having to force, what you want it to be? Here's another one. Does it sync messages with iCloud? I'm like, okay, what? Like, come on, like, what are we doing here? It's not supposed to be a smart tool. It's supposed to be something more basic, right? This person is just asking if they're working in Canada or India. I mean, those are fair, like things. So like, hey, does it work in my country, right? Is Spotify still in the works? Like, a lot of people, I'm like, and they always ask, it's something we're still open to, but Spotify has not been willing to help or support a custom tool. They hope that in the future they will do it. And this goes for all these dumb phones, right? Like, so for example, like if you go to the KaiOS store, I think, you have this idea that, hey, KaiOS has some smart apps, right? Like, some things that are very good. But, it doesn't have everything, but it does have something, right? So it's just like, hey, maybe KaiOS is something that's smarter, something that you're going to use that's better. As you see, it has maps, utilities, Kai Weather, has a weather app. Maybe on the entertainment, it's going to have like the podcast players. I don't know if it's gonna show up here. Maybe that's on social. No, maybe. These are all the social apps, or news. Like it's going to RSS reader, news, podcast. There you go. And you have these things. It's just like, hey, this is just how it works. This is just how it is. And I feel like people need to understand, like, hey, dumb phones are not just to live your life as it is. There's going to be some friction. Okay. Let's get to see more questions or a couple extra things. So we continue. Let's see. Fully Cooley says the light phone really doesn't need Spotify. Spotify is included. Wouldn't that be a hack? I love the light phone for the fact that my data is uncompromised. Probably, yeah. One issue with the uncompromised, people really want different. People really want is vastly different to where no phone can please everyone in such a small market. Some people want WhatsApp or Spotify, while some people don't even want email. I don't need it, but Telegram will be for an example. It's not something that I can think can easily fix either without alternating a certain amount of people. Yeah, and that's where I kind of like say, this phone that was just released, the dumb wireless phone, right? So they have now wireless phone plans. So if you want, they ship you, and you can support. They have 3 plans: $20, $30, and $45 for your dumb phones. But they also have their phone with unplug, right? Like, they just released the, I think I have it in my backpack. Give me a second. Yeah, I do. I've been testing it, so I've been, kind of like taking it different places. But it's a Pixel 4, right? Like, it's a smartphone by all intents and purposes. But it's something that is, something that is, what's it called? It's blocked, right? Like, it only has these things: phone, messages, maps, camera, Spotify, unplug, and calendar from the get-go. And if you lose the key, if you lose the unplug key, the little, this little thing right here, like this little tag, technically the phone is unusable because they block the settings as well, which I personally enjoy. So like right there, yeah, I try to open the settings, and like it says active. Oh wait, and boom, it blocks me, right? So anytime I try to go to like any settings, it automatically blocks it, so you cannot technically factory reset the phone. And I feel like solutions like that would be what you're like, hey, I really need these apps because of work, because of whatever. And honestly, that's what I do with the Jelly, right? So like this little device is so like so small, and like I block it. Like I use different blockers. I use Stay Focus. I use like all of these different things. Thank you, Fully Cooley, for the super thanks right there. Appreciate your appreciation of the work and reviews. Really, thank you for that. But yeah, something like, it can be done with a smartphone. It can be done with something like that, something that's more limited but still has access to apps. Another thing that I always waver into is also the Linux phones, right? So you have the dumb wireless, right? But you have like Ubuntu Touch. So, like that's to me one of my hopes, that one day we'll be able to have an operating system that is alternative out of Android and out of iOS. And that's why I personally like the light phone, right? Because yes, it's based on Android, right? Like, underneath, but what they have made is a custom, right? Like, a custom device with a custom application at the very least, operating system-esque. But I want something completely different, something that is not made with this ethos of exploitation, right? So I personally want that. I personally think that that's very important. But you have Ubuntu Touch, right? Like, or Selfish, right? SelfishOS.org. And this is kind of like very different, but they do have access to a couple of extra apps with Android, so you're able to use it still without compromising some of the needs that you have for work, for banking, for like all that stuff that is kind of like necessary. And honestly, these use cases don't work as well in the United States. So I'm still trying to like kind of like find a better solution, but I don't necessarily dislike them. Like, I think it's good. Another kind of like review I think you guys would appreciate, besides this one that Dorian made. There was another one that I saw that, I mean, I thought that, hey, like it kind of talks about like the things that you need. Oh, that's a new one. I haven't seen that. Um, but there was one. I think this guy right here. It's kind of like he just talks about how his life has been getting better throughout. Like, how he's like improving and looking forward to the updates. There's one more. If you filter, there's a lot of nothing phone twos out there. This one right here. So this is a podcast on the Lightphone 2 from the Overanalyzers. I thought that it was interesting because I think he makes a lot of the points that he's like, hey, I bought a Lightphone 2. It's been making my life better. But his friend that is kind of like with him is super skeptical about it. And he's like, no, why can't you just really do the self-control thing? Like, that's the thing that comes again and again. Or there's a lot of posts that I come across, especially here on the Reddit, that people say like, oh, just have self-control. I mean, why do you even need a light phone? Why do you even need a dumb phone? Especially on the digital minimalism page. And I feel like a lot of people don't understand that there is more to just the addictiveness, or the lack, or the stop using the app, that people really need to figure that out, right? Okay, let's continue reading some comments or questions. Yeah. Let's see. Carl Bittman says, the thing that kills me the most is email. I feel like the iPhone could come up with something that is not too distracting. Yeah, for that, I will just do a gateway SMS to email. I mean, honestly, this is the gateway right here. Depending on your carrier in the United States or outside of the United States, at least for the United States carriers, you have a SMS gateway. And it's just like your number at text.att.net. So if you go to your email, here, let me see if I can show an instance of my email that is nothing sensitive. Email that is not used. Let's see. I'm going to do that one. Give me 1 second. I'm logging in. Okay. This is not important, so I can show you this email. Okay. Right. Okay, let me see. Is it coming on now? Yes, perfect. All right, so as you see, this email is, I haven't touched it in such a long time, but you will go to something like settings, see all settings, and then like forwarding. So you add a forwarding address. Please enter a forwarding address, and you're like, okay, whatever your number is, at text.att.net, and you'll be able to see the email. And the reason why I say this is probably the most quote unquote useful thing is because honestly, you don't need your email all the time, but it's helpful to have like, okay, this is what people did it, or T-Mobile is like number@tmobile.net. Interesting that some of them, or a good majority, has .net. It's kind of like something that's quite interesting, right? So yeah, that's something that's very, very important. So you put it there, you forward it, and you maybe put some parameters, right? Like, maybe you don't need to forward everything, but you only forward, a couple of things. Yeah. So that's kind of like maybe something to think about, because you have the ability to kind of set up a gateway in that sense. You could technically, I never tried, but let me see if I'm able to compose a message to, let's see. All right, Let's see. No, I don't think you're able to compose a message to an email through this. Um, but that's possible. Give me 1 second. Got to be right back. All right, I'm back. So yeah, I think that's something that you could do, right? Like a gateway, and using your MMS, probably MMS gateway, maybe, um, to send messages or that kind of stuff. So I think it's definitely possible, and I mean, I I have done it before. Apparently, there's maybe an integration automation features, if this then that. Let me see. Let's see if they have an email to if this then that .com. Start today. Explore email to SMS. Yeah, SMS to email. There you go. So simply connect your incoming SMS into your email inbox. So if any new SMS, then send an email to, okay, send SMS text to my email, SMS forwarding. If you have more than one phone, the server will collect all SMS to email. But it's email to SMS that I want. I mean, you can probably, send something. I mean, clearly they have a lot of different applets or, kind of like integrations that they have done. So yeah, it's quite interesting right there. Android SMS is a native service that allows you to receive short message service to your device and then messages to other phone numbers, standard carriers, if this then that. And of course you may have to, send a couple things here and there, but that's quite interesting. I mean, it has a lot of automations in there. So I think it's quite useful. So that's just an idea. If you find yourself like you need a feature, there's always a workaround. It just takes for you to actually do it. Okay, let's see. Fernando, hey, welcome. Thank you for being here. I do have your Lemur wallet here for the light phone, the case. Always love it. I love good design and good stuff right here. All right, let's see. More questions. Ali D. Hi, Jose. How are you? I'm debating getting the Xiaomi F21 Pro, but I don't want the Google version. Is it possible to install apps, WhatsApp, and Maps without the Google version of it? Yes, it is. So WhatsApp is not, you don't need to use, Google services for WhatsApp. But if you go to whatsapp.com/Android, you can download the package installer right here directly from their website, and you can just use it that way. For Maps, I recommend Osmand Maps. So this osmand.net. If you go to F-Droid, usually they will have all the features, and you have offline navigation, travel maps, contours, interesting points of interest, and all of that good stuff. I personally like it better. You also have organic maps. That's another offline, kind of like hike, bike, trails, and also, regular navigation. And yeah, the maps are like right there. Those are my preferred options if you're going to use an F21 without Google services. Yep. All right. More questions. It says, I have Verizon. I hate it. I hate the device support, and I'll switch sometime next year. Yeah, you should. I mean, honestly, this is my next carrier. I do have some lines right now with them, but that's just for testing purposes. But US Mobile, I highly recommend them. Of course, there's many others, and for like, if you want to find the cheapest plan, Stetson Doggett cell phone plans, bestphoneplans.net. Now, this guy, he created this website, and essentially it has all the carriers, all the plans that you can get, and it kind of tells you like, hey, this is, the best possible low cost plan, best cell phone plans for families, for kids, for students, for international SIMs. He has videos on the matter. I definitely like his approach. Really great, honestly. I really think it's a great um, uh, website. It's kind of like the dumb phone finder, but like for plans. And he definitely has more aesthetically pleasing things as well. So that's kind of that. But US Mobile, what I like is their plans. They have taxes included. This is very good in my opinion. Just $25 for the unlimited starter. And then they have other plans as well. Here, let me show you. Like, okay, this is more details. But there's this one. Oh, yes. So, like, shareable data. You can start, like, at $10 for 2 gigs. And then each line that you add is, like, $8. So, $8. Taxes and fees included as well, which honestly is really like. And then they have a light plan, which honestly it's the one that I'm going for. It's $5 a line. So I've been like monitoring my usage on the light phone, and I honestly don't talk more than 500 minutes. If I do, I'm probably on a conference call or something like that. So I'm on Zoom or on Teams or something, along those lines. Even with family, sometimes we're on FaceTime. I just use the iPad or WhatsApp, that kind of stuff. And texts, not that many texts as well. And the light phone uses very little data, so 500 megabytes, $5. And then, of course, like you can top up, like if you don't feel like paying for data, like 500 megabytes, and then you can put another gig, and it lasts for a little while and whatnot. But $5 per line, that's my goal for this upcoming year to transition to. Right now I'm paying like $25 on AT&T, and it's good, but you can't beat $5. So then you have the kosher plan, of course, unlimited talk and text, no data, $7.50, which I personally, if I talked a lot, I would use. Probably I will just leave the data for top ups or things like that. Yeah, so that's kind of like some ideas for out there. I do have a referral code for this system. Let me see. Okay, wait, where is it? Okay, yes. So this is outside. Here, let me log in. If you guys want to, get a credit, I think you get like some sort of reward if you I think you get some sort of reward. I don't know what it is, but I get $25, I think, if you use my link. Which, if you want to use it, good. If not, that's okay too. Rewards, here it is. Refer a friend, get something. Copy link. There it is. It says send your personalized link and get you get $25 too, apparently. So that's a good credit for US Mobile. I will post it. Where is it? Here in the chat. Open web browser. Sorry. This just takes forever. Okay, there it is. Boom. If you want to use my referral code for US Mobile, there it is. Yeah. Cool. All right, let's continue. Let's see. Next question, concerns, things like that. Okay, the self-control focus features are a good idea, but having the feeling of being able to go back or turn off the feature and go back to installing social media is a pain. Yes, I agree. And this goes with Ali's question. Ali Elzagir, does dumb wireless unplug phone allow social media through the plug? Yes. So if you have the little tag and you press it, then you technically could access whatever you want to access. I think this is helpful for people that want to ideally have some sort of limit, but they feel like they cannot have it. And then you also have get clear space, which we did have them a few months ago now. No, it's been like a couple weeks. Yeah, so these guys made a Chrome extension, but I cannot see it here. Chrome extension, which I thought actually was pretty good. Oh, here it is. Now that they have added some new features, let's see, add extension. Boom. Oh. I don't know. If I ask for a password, I mean, everybody has my email, so. Pin, clear space. Sure. There it is. Yes, I pinned it. How it works. Setup complete. Okay, no. All I want is this. So let's see YouTube, right? And then you give yourself a daily budget of like, hey, I want to access this 3 times a day. So this happens. And now that I go to YouTube, boom, it blocks me automatically. But it also like helps me. Oh, here, let me see. Let me do this. Okay. So hopefully now that I reload it, it should. Let's see. Let's see what it does. Okay, so I need to put the full thing. There it is. Okay, let's try it. So it's supposed to kind of like intercept. Ah, there it is. Boom. So it kind of uses this intercept method. That, hey, my budget is 3 times a day, right? So I'm gonna use YouTube 3 times a day, and whenever you exit out, you use 1. And then it gives you 15 seconds and says, how long would you like to use YouTube? 30 minutes, 15 minutes, 5 minutes, 1 minute. And if you do 1 minute, then at the 1 minute mark, it will block you again. So I think that's a very clever system of the Get Clear Space people, because it's like, okay, hey, I want to have access to these things, but I want to be reminded that life is not just these, matters. And I think that's super clever. And that it automatically blocks back, then it kind of allows you to say, hey, I do, and I have a decision to make, right? Like, it puts that friction once again. So I personally think it's actually a good way of doing it. Okay, let's continue. Greetings from India. Hello. Thank you for subscribing. I appreciate, you said that I'm one of the only 2 channels that you subscribe to. Appreciate that. Thank you. Let's see. Let's continue with more questions. Still using my TCL Flip from T-Mobile, says Livermore Film or Livermore Film. It's not a perfect device. It's still better than KaiOS. Yeah, glad. I like the TCL Flip. Has Nokia released a Nokia OS device in the US yet for T-Mobile users that you know of? No. That's a good question. Oh, there it is. Session ended. Look at that. That's what I wanted. I was just waiting for that minute. And boom, it kind of like redirects you back to something else. But of course you can go to, it closed the tab. That's awesome actually. So let me go back to YouTube and boom, it loads, but then boom, it intercepts everything and I cannot, use everything. And then it says, hey, I've used it once today. I have a budget of 3. And that kind of keeps you, I guess, accountable to yourself to say like, hey, I want to use, this also blocks the other side. Oh, that's kind of cool. And then, of course, it asks you like, hey, do you want to use it or not? And I guess that's the best method. And I don't want to use it. So boom, there you go. Okay. Yes, Nokia devices. Okay, so Nokia.com. Let's go to... No, Nokia Mobile. They have changed their things, right? Nope, that's not the one. Okay, I don't remember what it is. Nokia. Licensing products. Maybe it is Nokia.com products. Internet of Things. Nokia phones? What is the... Oh, Nokia.com/phones. Okay, there it is. Okay, so feature phones. There is supposed to be a Nokia 105. And I'll have to show you here on the global. I think it should show up on the global one. Okay. There it is. So yes, so this phone right here, the 105 2023 and the 110 2023 are supposed to be coming. I was told, but I guess, they're delayed, that it was going to be on now in September, October, but I don't know. I haven't gotten contacted again, so probably it's going to take another 2 months. Usually that's what happens for the devices. But you can get the Nokia. I think you can. I'm not, entirely sure, but you can get the Nokia 105 4G, the 2023, and the 110 4G 2023. And you should be able to use them without any issues on T-Mobile here in the United States in certain areas. But it's not going to be super reliable. So these are some new ones I haven't seen. The Nokia 130, probably a 2G device, 106 and 150. I don't see the 4G, so I would assume that it is only a 2G device, which is kind of interesting. They keep releasing 2G devices. I know they're widely available outside of the United States. We still have 2G, but it's kind of like, why? Yeah. Anyways, let's continue. Let's see. Jose, what kind of format is your ebook Low Tech Life on your own store website? I can show you that. Yes. So on my website, you have two options. You have Amazon and you have my store. When you go to my store, you can get the Low Tech Life ebook version. And the ebook version is EPUB, I believe. Let me double check that. Low Tech Life EPUB. Yes, it is an EPUB. Darn it. Oh, this came here. But anyways, yes, this one is an EPUB, so you can get it and translate it into whatever. This is the hard copy. You can also order it from my website. Only if you're in the United States. Honestly, if you're outside of the United States, it's better if you order through Amazon because of the shipping, and it's like super expensive to ship outside of the United States. So yeah, just FYI. Okay. Let's see. I love my iPhone 2 and have had it for 3 years, but the Maps tool is being constantly causing me headaches. The tool is constantly going between being off and off online. We'll flip me to a different browser altogether. Okay. Hey, Livermore Film, thank you very much for that. Super thanks. Appreciate it. Thank you. Really, really thank people when they donate, their hard-earned money. It really kind of keeps me going because, this is a labor of love, but it's kind of like super chats and super thanks. And like, it's kind of like, oh yeah, hey, somebody is appreciating. I really appreciate that you guys watch the live streams and the videos and everything. So yeah, super, super happy. John, yes. So a couple tips, I think, for the Light Phone directions tool is, I guess, like, the thing that has worked the best for me is that I put the addresses. So here's the Light Phone tool, right? I put my mode of transportation, driving, and I don't wait for it to give me the location. It usually takes a long time to find my location. So what I do is, like, I put my location and then I put the location I'm going to, and then it kind of starts. And then usually by the time if I'm driving, usually I'm on the bus or public transport, but when I'm driving, it doesn't miss me most of the time. And I would check your provider as well, because I have had multiple experiences where when I had T-Mobile, it lost my GPS mode all the time, but now that I have AT&T, it doesn't. So maybe it's like in your area, like look into what's best and then kind of like accommodate into that. That's another thing. Podcast tool periodically stops and will flip me to a different podcast. That I have experienced in the past, but since version 420 or 418, the latest update that they did, which can be found here, I haven't had that issue. So maybe do a reset No, update software versions and change log. There it is. So since this one right here, September 27, I really haven't had many issues with the podcast. It doesn't pause when I'm listening. It doesn't skip tracks, and it keeps my position. So I would say reboot the OS or do a wipe, like completely clean. The good thing I like about doing like a wipe of the light phone is that I don't lose my contacts. So I mean that's something helpful. But if you have, of course, text messages and stuff like that, it may not work for you. So but at least a reboot of the OS should do something. Okay. All right. Let's see. Livermore says, I would like to transition to iPhone 2 today. My only holdback is not having a camera. That's true. Two alternatives for you. I know that can be frustrating for a lot of people, but Insta Go 3 Mini, I think that's what it is. Yes, this one right here. Insta 360 Go 3. This is one option. Of course, as you see, it's not super like inexpensive or whatnot, but I think you can use it for other things and not just necessarily for the for only light phone pictures and whatnot. But yeah, as you see, like right here it has different things that it can do, and it is expensive, but I think if you want a very small camera that does the job, and you kind of like want to use it for all of these different use cases, not only taking pictures, but like, taking it everywhere, and it's submersible and like, all of those things. It's a great action camera. I think it's a great thing. Another one is called Camp Snap. I think Dumb Wireless is selling it. They're a retailer. If not, no. Accessories maybe? Yes, this one. This is an affordable situation, right? So Camp Snap. Let me see if I can find their website. I think it's called, yeah, there it is. Camp Snap Photo. There it is. So Camp Snap Photo. No screen, digital, very easy to use camera. I'm actually currently testing one. I probably will do a review. I'm not sure yet personally. I have this kind of like brown one, and it's $45 though, and it's kind of like a digital camera, but like it's like vintage look, like it says, like, yeah, stores 500 pictures, and you can learn more about it, of course, here. But photo quality, there it is. I mean, as you see, it's like not the best in the world, but also not the worst. I mean, this gets the job done. I will have more samples next week, as I will be in the mountains. I'll be going for like a little trip. And it's actually cheaper on Dumb Wireless. Dumb Wireless is selling it for $45. They're selling it for $55 here. Okay. Well, I mean, I found you a discount. So, it's super small, very pocketable, and like you can put it anywhere, like, essentially in the you can put it anywhere in the in like your bag, or like you can buy a little case for it, or you can just put it in your pocket, honestly, or like in a jacket, like that I think it'll be fine. Lens, f1.8, 4.8 millimeters, 2000 photos, has a viewfinder, and you just click and that's it. It charges with USB-C. And yeah, I mean, honestly, it's great. It's awesome. I really like the concept and the idea of taking pictures more analogly, and it's kind of like still, right, very digital-ish, right? So just an idea. Let's see. Because like, for example, like, I get it. You don't want to bring one of these, right? So like, you don't want to bring this to, hey, like I want to snap a few pictures or whatever. But those two are alternatives that I've seen it work. And of course, you can just get a old GoPro as well. So that's that's another maybe an idea. Okay, more questions. Let's see. I am Vin91. Do you think we'll ever see another BlackBerry-like phone? QWERTY keypad, touchscreen, landscape screen. Oof, that's a tough one. Yes and no. I'll show you a project that is still happening. What is it called? It's called Keyphone. That's what it's called. So the Keyphone is going to look like this, and it's going to have a QWERTY keyboard and a touch screen technically. So this is the beta phone right now. You can look into how it looks and what they're doing. This is essentially an Android device, and of course they have a QWERTY keyboard happening, as you see right there. You have the keys, and you're able to touch and kind of like get through it. I think this is the closest that you'll ever get again. I don't think there's any company interested in like mainstream devices that will do a lot of things or be super smart or like even just be at the BlackBerry level of smart. I just don't think that's going to be feasible. A lot of companies are just not interested in that, honestly, anymore, because there's a lot of cost, right? So there's a lot of cost in developing a QWERTY keyboard, and of course, I mean, you have the Unihertz Titan Pocket, right? Like so Titan Pocket is like probably your best bet at $279, or maybe you can find it used for a little bit cheaper or whatnot. And yeah, this will be your BlackBerry like closest to BlackBerry experience that you're going to have, because the reality is that, hey, one of these keys fails and then you have to replace the whole phone. It's just not a good business model. Plus the screens are smaller, and the mass, I mean, there's a reason why you see the same phone again and again and again coming from different companies, or like the same style of phone. Is because, hey, they're producing the parts en masse in different factories around the world. And because of that, you just have the ability to say, hey, you know what? Yeah, Apple is using that screen. I just slap it into my phone and I get discounted because of what Apple did. And that's just life, right? So, yeah. Let's see. Humaid says, I ordered the book from Amazon. After a week, it showed that the package was lost. Oh, I'm sorry to hear. Waited for a while, but then refunded the money. Think about buying the digital version. Yeah, you can buy the digital version, and hopefully, if you have issues, please send me an email, and I'll try to figure it out with Amazon. Yeah. Okay. Does the Light phone need to add USB-C in order to continue selling the international version to European markets? Not right now. So something that people don't understand about that rule is that all the phones that are produced right now, they're grandfathered, right? So like you don't have to get USB-C in order to sell the Light phone. No. That's not the Light phone that I wanted to go to. The Light phone. There you go. So because they already created this device, they're grandfathered. So like you can continue selling the device because again, it's not a new device. It's not a new certification. But for any device that is made for the future, so like it's like Apple, right? Apple can continue selling their iPhone 14 in Europe. United Kingdom. No. Germany. So like this is Apple Deutschland, right? This is the store for the iPhone. And like they can continue selling the iPhone 14 and 14 Plus or the 13 because they manufacture that before the date when the European Union said, hey, from now on we need USB-C. So as you see, they have the iPhone SE even right there. They have 14, 14 Plus, 13, SE. And of course, they have the new ones, the 15, 15 Plus, 15 Pro, and 15 Pro Max. And yeah, because they already manufacture this, same thing with the Light phone, they can continue selling this. But as soon as they make a new phone, that new phone has to be USB-C in order to be able to have the ability to be sold outside of or in the European Union. That is okay. Cool. More questions. Let's see. Let's see. Thanks for this. Exactly a cheap small camera solution I need. Excited to go light soon. Oh, perfect. Yeah, glad that you're able to do it. Fernando says, isn't Punk working on a BlackBerry-like phone? I believe it's still happening. Yes, that's true. So the Punk MC01. This is the MC01, and as far as I know, Punk's still working on it. It looks amazing, to be honest. Very well designed. Punk has that design kind of ethos, and I really like it. But the reality is that they're not working on this first. It's going to take a while. I think they first need to make sure that their apostrophe, let me see, where is it? So Crackberry right now is working with Punk to make this happen. Here it is, sneak peek. So Kevin Mitchelluk, he's the owner of Crackberry, and he is working with Punk right now, I think as an advisory or kind of like getting some of that stuff. But they're not making this phone first, the actual QWERTY keyboard one. They're making this regular, Pixel 4-like device, essentially. And what they're doing with AppyOS, which is like what it's going to look like, apostrophe OS, is something that I'm not necessarily excited about, but this is based on Graphene OS. If you know what Graphene OS is, it's based on Pixels, and all they're doing is they're bringing Graphene OS to non-Pixel devices. They're essentially porting it and using it on non-Pixel devices. And that's it. That's all they're doing. But don't hold your breath on the MC01 coming out anytime soon. Like, this device looks nice, and trust me, I would buy it. Personally, I would buy it. I would love to have one, but it's not coming anytime soon. Probably, I would say, give it 2 years, probably 2025. That's when we're going to start hearing about, hey, this is happening. This is, something that will probably be on the market. Yeah. Beeper. Yes, that's another thing. Good thing to showcase. So if you want to keep your contacts and kind of like have a lot of stuff, this app is great. If you want to keep like your iMessage and kind of like in one place and use it outside of the Apple ecosystem, and you want to give up your iPhone, this is the way. So, this is the way to do it. Beeper works on cross platforms everywhere, and you have the ability to have WhatsApp, Facebook, Twitter, iMessage, Android, Telegram, Signal, Beeper itself, Instagram, IRC, Discord, LinkedIn, Slack. I mean, so many things. Oh my goodness, it's like very, very good. I've been using it for past, I think, 3 months now, and I love it. Yeah, I love it. It's really, really amazing. I really enjoy it. Yeah, so that's that. About an hour, guys. Gotta go now. Do a couple of extra things here in the office. I gotta work. But look out for my review of the Light phone coming soon. I'm probably gonna shoot some of it today and some of it next week. But I'm gonna do a 4-year review, hopefully, kind of like introspective. How has my life changed? Kind of video, and hopefully after that, yeah, we'll see what happens. But thank you for joining me for this hour of news and questions and, all this kind of stuff. Like, I'm really, really happy to always chat about the different things on dumb phones. And stay tuned. There's more things coming up. Like I said, check out the new F1 Pro. If you, just letting you know, if you're going to order one, just go to the Dumb Phone Finder first and then click the link there. Because I mean, I do get a kickback. I mean, I'm always transparent about that kind of stuff. So like, yeah, I do get, I have different codes there. If you want to get something out of Dumb Wireless, 5% off, you have a link there. But if you click here and then you get the phone, I don't know why it didn't show up, but the button right there should have showed up. But yeah, like I get a kickback, so it's thank you if you decide to get the Sunbeam Wireless. Yeah, thanks a lot for everything, guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Oh, do have one more question I think here that just came in. Do I have any recommendations for minimalist phones for India? It depends, but in general, if you can get something from AliExpress, I think that will be kind of like a good medium. I think I read there was a Reddit post the other day, maybe 2 or 3 days ago. I check in at least once a day. Oh, this is blocked because this is okay. Let me give me a second. Let me turn this off for now. Oh, wow. Well, that's interesting. When like vending machine with dumb phones. Never seen that before. There was a thing with, they kind of gave me an idea of like what's going on in India, but like this guy wrote his thoughts. He switched his phone for 2 days, and kind of lived without a phone for 2 days. He didn't have any issues, but I think one of them, yeah, it's just like these things. Phone UPI scanners. So apparently you guys use in India like a specifically like digital payment, and like it's kind of like NFC based. And as far as I know, the Geo phone does that. I don't know much about Geo and why people that want a dumb phone don't go with them. I think this one, the Bharat, for what I saw and what I understand it to be, no, it's not that one. Is it this one? I think it's, yeah, this Bharat one. I think it has essentially all the, the version 2. It has all the basics covered and even more. I believe like you can do a couple of extra things like UPI payment, phone camera, entertainment, coverage, crystal clear voice, unlimited music. I mean, like that kind of stuff is stuff that I wish that we would have here. A candy bar phone with all of these like NFC payments and all of the stuff that people need. Oh my goodness. Like I would pay money for that, right? Because it's kind of like KaiOS, but better. So check this out. Check the Bharat. Hopefully I'm saying it right. And if not, please pardon me. But that's an option. And then if not, if you can go into AliExpress and you can get some devices from AliExpress, just honestly get something that you enjoy. I mean, like there's a lot of 2G still connectivity in India, so you could get a Symbian device, Symbian OS. So all about Symbian. I don't know if they have any new articles, but I remember using it back in the day. Oh wow, this got a, oh, it's redirecting to this, the Symbian Foundation. Okay, so yeah. But you have like all about Symbian OS. Maybe they have articles about us. No, I don't know. They don't have as much anymore as they used to. But there used to be a website with kind of like how to use Symbian in the 2020s essentially. Maybe you can look for that article, and that will be something that I think personally it could be very useful. So yeah, look into that. Let's see. Okay. Just want to ask if there's minimalism exists, which comes with only limited feature like online payment, WhatsApp. No, that doesn't exist. Yeah. So sorry about that, Lakshya. Hopefully I pronounced your name right, but there's no perfect phone. There's no phone that only has these features and doesn't have all of the other stuff. You kind of have to work within the system and compromise for it. I wish it was that simple to be like, oh, give me a phone with this app and nothing else. That's what everybody wants, because everybody has 2 or 3 apps that they need, but it just doesn't work that way. You have to customize it. You have to compromise or customize. That's the state of the time. Yeah. Thank you for watching. Hope you guys have a great day, And I will see you in the next stream. And yeah, thank you. I really appreciate everything that you guys have done. And hopefully you guys have a great weekend. There is an eclipse on this side of the world. So if you're in the United States and you're able to see the eclipse, check it out. It'll be interesting for you. All right. See you guys.